One foot in chaos, the other in class.
What's happening? It's your boy AJ Three Ways, and we back with another episode of Venom and Varsity V and V, a podcast, man. Welcome to another week. Welcome to another week of greatness. You are here again, so you've done something great. Hey, we back week 3, back to back on them things. You know what I'm saying? We here, we live, we in action. You know what I'm saying? We got a little recap we need to get into, a little bit of story time to get into, and some things to shout out, some things to look back and, kind of commemorate, man. It was a great weekend, a lot of things going on. It was a great week. Again, a lot of things going on. So yeah, man, before we get into it, man, make sure you follow your host that does the most. Of course, AJ Three Ways on Instagram. Make sure you holler at your boy. And make sure you following the show, man, following the media platform, following this creative space I'm developing as we work and we maintain and we grow and we develop together as a community. Because, you know what I'm saying, as a community, that's the way we're going to make it. So as a community, the things we got going on, things we got going on to make it. So this is week 3 consistently. Episode 9, man. This episode's about love, bro. It's about love, bro. We're going to get into a little bit of love today, bro. Yeah, we getting into it. But before we get into it, man, happy Fat Tuesday. If you down there in New Orleans, make sure you're safe. Make sure, you know what I'm saying, enjoy yourself, but make sure you're safe. And for everybody else, man, let's prepare for this season. You know what I'm saying? See what God has in store for us. As we prepare for Easter, man, as we prepare to look back at the things God did for us to, allow us to be saved today and, to be filled with his love and his grace. So, yeah, man, happy Fat Tuesday. We're going into Ash Wednesday, so let's go ahead and get our minds right, get our hearts right, to do and to receive what we need to get and do from, the main one, the only one. So real quick, let's get into it in order because, we are focused, we are programmed, we are structured show over here. So in order, shout out to the people who are participating in Lent, you know what I'm saying, who are going to this fasting season, 40 days, 40 nights, just to remember God, to be in tune with God, to be in space and communion with God. For this next 40 days, 40 nights as we lead up to Easter. But other than that, man, over the weekend, we had the All-Star, NBA All-Star break. And surprisingly enough, man, it was actually entertaining. Actually enough, it was entertaining. The dunk contest was, it was a miss. You know what I'm saying? I think they can get, some prepared individuals out there, to represent like they should. Hint Jackson Hayes. Like, come on, bro. Come on, bro. You got a Lakers jersey on, man, and we in LA and you showed up. I mean, you didn't show up. And that's what we'll get. I'll leave it at that, bro. But Jackson Hayes, you disappointed me, bro. But other than that, I would say the dunk contest was a hint of a surprise, though, because that dude, Carter Bryant, I don't know if y'all know him, played for the Spurs. But yeah, he kind of surprised me. I don't know if he is related to Kobe or what, but they kept emphasizing the Kobe LA narrative while he was, performer or whatever. So it was a good contest up to the end. And then, you know what I'm saying? Just, I don't think individuals were prepared for the dunk contest this year. But, next year, maybe they'll come with some heat. They'll come with some fire. But the 3-point contest was pretty good, too, though. Like, out of nowhere, Dame Lillard was in the 3-point contest, and he hadn't played a game this year. But he ended up winning the 3-point contest. But it was actually a good shootout. That boy, Con Knuppel up there in the Hornets, boy, that boy from Duke, you know what I'm saying? He showed out first round, came out 27 hot. So, yeah, he made it tough from the jump. It ended up being like Con, Devin Booker, and Dame Lillard, top 3. And Dame ended up on top. But it was a shootout for sure, no pun intended, between Dame and Devin Booker. in the end. But yeah, 3-point contest was pretty fire. And the All Star game format this year was different too. Like the main game on Sunday was different. Like they had three different teams. It was like a double elimination type tournament between three different teams for the All Star game winner. So they had the team stars, which seem to be like young all stars in the NBA right now, like the up and coming stars. Team stripes, those they seem to be the seasoned vets. Like each vet seemed to had at least won one championship on that team. Um, yeah, and then Team World, who also has some champions on that team too. So, and those were just the team of global players, so players not from the USA. So three teams, each team got to play 2 games for sure. And the young stars, the YNs of the NBA, actually came out on top against the OGs and the Team World. But yeah, man, the YNs, they really stepped up. They put on a show. That boy Wimby was not playing. He did not come to play games this weekend. You could tell he rather have been chilling somewhere, but he was like, shoot, since I'm here, y'all gonna get it. And he came out from the jump, like with it, on fire. So yeah, he made everybody else step their game up for sure. And it was a good product actually to watch. So uh yeah, pretty good weekend for the NBA, man. Not gonna lie. I think it might have woke some stuff up. It definitely got my attention. So I'm gonna be locked in when the games start running back after the break. But shout out to Ant, man. You know what I'm saying? He was the MVP of the game. Yeah, he put on a show too. Not gonna lie, but Wemby he definitely I think he should have been MVP because he wasn't playing out there for sure. So yeah, All Star game was fire. You know what I'm saying? We've been trying to work on this new schedule personally. Just trying, pattern our life to where we can keep up, designate certain tasks for certain days, you know what I'm saying? And we've been failing. Actually been failing, but it's okay. So, because this is about progress, not about perfection. So, each week, each day, we're gonna keep pushing. We're gonna keep pushing towards the mark. Didn't get up this morning to record, but so we here late at night to get it in. You know what I'm saying? So we can make sure we still putting something out on Wednesday. You feel me? So yeah, that's where we at. So yeah, shout out to those who are trying to do what they do and trying to do it best. But life just happens sometimes. The bed just keeps you a little bit longer. You oversleep, you hit that snooze button a couple times, but thank God for grace and another day and another chance to get it right again. So, yeah, man, trying to work on this schedule, just be able to balance work, life, love, and the show. Just trying to build this thing up and just trying to build it from a humble point of view. Like, this is something I feel commissioned to do. So I got to make sure I'm doing what I'm supposed to do on top of maintaining my other priorities as well. So for those who like to keep on a strict schedule and you kind of hard on yourself and down on yourself when you're not maintaining that schedule, give yourself some grace, man. Go back a couple episodes, listen to that grace episode and understand like you deserve grace too. So yeah, get back on the horse, keep riding. And we're gonna keep on pushing towards the mark, man. We got something to do, and we're gonna try to make sure we keep pushing to do what we're supposed to be doing. You feel me? But it is hard. And it is tough, not gonna lie. But at the end of the day, you know, if you want to do it, you will do it, and there ain't nothing gonna stop you. So we don't believe in excuses over here. So that's we're gonna leave it at that. Shout out to the Venom drip. You know what I'm saying? If you rock with the Walmart drip, Walmart has hoodies for the low, like really, really quality type stuff, and the graphics really be tough. So like, Venom and Varsity the podcast, we repping the Venom, I'm hoodie this week. So yeah, I had a quick shout that out real quick because it is kind of fire. On top of filling up my schedule, my allergies decided to jump up and right in the face this week. So that's been a thing, you know what I'm saying? Keeping the boy down. But yeah, Seems like the weather's turning a little bit. It's not as cold as it was literally a week or two ago when it was snowing. But yeah, I think the weather's supposed to be up to like 70 tomorrow here in South Carolina. So I'm just trying to figure out what we're doing. And that reminds me I need to take an allergy pill immediately after this ends. Because yeah. Your boy was down last week. Sinuses, allergies, all that. This weather is crazy. I don't know what that groundhog saw talking about 6 more weeks of winter. It must be coming. I don't know, but it ain't here now. And it's got your boy jacked. You feel me? Your boy is jacked. So send prayers up for your boy, man. Your boy's hurt. So yeah, like I said, that's the pretty much a recap of last week and the weekend. Uh, of course, we know Valentine's weekend was this past weekend. Valentine's Day was on Friday, so shout out to the lovers. Shout out to the people who trying to show up. Shout out to the people who trying to get it right. And shout out to the people who are getting it right. You know what I mean? Shout out to my lady. I love you, girl. Had a great Valentine's weekend. It was a amazing weekend to just spend quality time with my lady, getting to know her some more, get to share some time together, and it was a really dope experience. Didn't do too much outside because if you know South Carolina, then you know. But we still got to enjoy a good dinner. So yeah, real good quality time this weekend. Real good quality time, and that just made me. After the weekend, I got some time to just sit down and kind of reflect and think. Like when you do the work and put in the time to like really seek God and what His plan and His purpose is for you, I don't believe you get everything at one time. I believe it comes in pieces. And I believe, of course, on the journey, like that's the reason He doesn't tell us the end because we're supposed to enjoy, embrace, and grow from the journey. And I, with my whole heart, believe that this woman is a part of the blessing along the way to the life that God has in store or has planned for me. I really wholeheartedly believe that. Like she came in, she fit like right where I believe God made her to fit into my life, and it's been seamless. Like she's family around my family, I'm family around her family, and we just got to sit down this weekend and spend time together, and just talk about some of the times we shared. We actually got to see her parents this weekend. So yeah, shout out to the in-laws, and the in-loves. But yeah, love is a great thing, man. So I think when you take the time to, give God your intentions and give God your heart and do the work also. That's as far as counseling or just taking time to really observe and really do the work to understand what it is you need in a companion versus the things that check off the boxes that you want. Because often, and I think we all know this, I think we've all heard this coming up. Like often what you want isn't even good for you, but not in the sense of like a person isn't good for you, that's just not your person. So you know what I mean? I think in the end, you can have your wants and needs, but I think it's especially for me, identifying what I needed in somebody and then identifying what I wanted and identifying my non-negotiables and really seeking that in an individual and feeling like you found that in one person, that is the biggest thing. And I think the biggest blessing. And I think that's why I can stand so confidently and say, like, this person is from God because I had to do the work in me to identify, and realize and understand like the important things in life and important qualities in a person. And you know what I mean? I think that is the biggest part and the biggest reflection point for me for this weekend, and I hope a lot of people get an opportunity to gain that perspective in their relationships and in seeking their person because uh, it's really like an epiphany. It really just happens, and when you take some time to look back and just realize like this is really our story. Like this is this is how we've grown together. These are the things we've experienced, and it's a beautiful picture when you're painting it. And I think if you happen to be like or like art or you dabble in art or whatever, I think along the journey, I think that's a good depiction of life and love. While you're painting, just you start with a blank canvas and then you just kind of go with the flow, or you're following um, the flow of the art or the picture, or putting the colors where they need to be. And eventually, when you finish and step back, let it dry, and you see the whole thing come together, you just can't help but step back like a proud dad with your hands on your hip and just smile like, man, this is what I've been developing. This is what I've been working for. This is what I've been um, grabbing my brush, adding some color, washing it off, grabbing my brush, washing some color, putting it on the canvas, washing the brush off, and doing it again. And you feel like you're in a cycle or whatever the case is. But in the end, like when the masterpiece is done, like you'll be able to step back and be like, yeah, all that painting and all that mixing the brush and all that washing the brush back off and all that stepping back and coming back to it and taking a break and everything, you just kind of understand and appreciate the journey and the process of building and making that and molding that masterpiece. So I think that's a pretty good analogy of what love is and what my journey has been personally. And again, what I hope other people's journey and experience is with love too, because it's major. It's major, especially when you do it right, especially when it's God centered, and especially um, if it's of God, you know, and you feel, and you can just move in ways that you haven't before. It's a candle burning in here from Bath and Body Works. That 3 wick is choking me. But yeah, I don't have no water in here. I gotta get some. But yeah, that's I think that's a pretty good depiction and a pretty good recap of love and companionship. And I'll even take it to I'll even take it to like my recent readings on my Bible journey. As you know, I'm on a journey to finish the Bible within a year. It's a Bible plan on the Bible app, and I'm reading it chronologically. And as of today, I just finished the Old Testament, or I'm finishing the Old Testament with Joel, um, chapter 3, I believe. Finishing that tonight, and I'll officially be in the New Testament and finishing the Old Testament. And I recently just got out of Esther. And if you aren't familiar with Esther, I'm gonna try to break it down as smoothly and easily as possible without dragging it out. But I feel like in some ways, um, I identify with this book, particularly when it comes to being a honeydew. And you'll find out what a honeydew is if you read the book of Esther, and if you follow along with my story time. So yeah, in the book of Esther, I believe there's the biggest honeydew I've ever seen in my life. One of the biggest, especially in the Bible. If you're not familiar with a honeydew is a man who does whatever his honey says. So Bay is like, honey, do this for me, and me, yes, Bay, honeydew. I'm gonna do what honey wants me to do. So yeah, I'm the honey and I do. Anyway, honeydew. Uh, Xerxes. So the Persian Empire is at its peak. and they have Jewish refugees or Jewish outcasts in their provinces or whatever. And Esther ends up being one of the king of Persia's wives. And he took favor upon Esther, and Esther just happened to be Jewish. Or not happen, because nothing in the Bible happens, just happens to happen. It's all intentional or whatever. But she was in the province. When he was picking the wives, he didn't know what nationality she was at the time. So, anyway, long story short, the king makes her one of the wives, Esther, and she is Jewish. So, um, some of the Jewish high official or some of the people in the kingdom, they have a problem with Esther's uncle or cousin that adopted her. Either way, it's Esther's adopted father. The high officials of the kingdom of Persia have a problem with Esther's adopted father. So he goes to her and asks her, can she get the king involved to, save, I believe, the Jewish people? That's what it was. The high officials had a problem with a certain Jew, and in turn, they wanted to execute all Jews in the kingdom. So her father came to her and asked her, could she talk to the king? Her thing was like, I'm only allowed to see him on certain days and only if he talks to me. So she fasts for 3 days, eating absolutely nothing, seeking the will of God, and she went in front of the king anyway to ask her to nullify this law, because at that time a king could not undo a law that he wrote. So she goes before the king, and the king accepts her proposal and makes a law that makes the Jewish people be able to defend themselves if somebody ever tried them, to annihilate them or annihilate them. They could fight back. So yeah, she goes in front of the king. He grants this law. That's that. The high official that had a problem with her father tried to kill her father personally. Esther again asked the king, well, actually, the king asked, what does she want? Actually, what is it that she wants? If she wanted the kingdom, he would give it to her. He would say that every time he talked to her. And I'm actually need to start using that line now that I'm thinking about it. However, every time he saw her, when they spoke, that was his line. What is it that you want? If you want the kingdom, I would give it to you. She wants this high official that wants her adopted father dead to pretty much be off or whatever. And King Xerxes does this. He eliminates his high official, and there's no longer any beef between Persian high officials and the Jewish citizens. So, honeydew is what honey did in Esther. Whatever Esther wanted the king of Persia to do, that's what he did. That is the ultimate honeydew, including eliminating one of his own high officials for the love of an exiled refugee from another country. That's real honeydew. That's real honeydew. And you know what? I wasn't mad at it. When I was reading that, I wasn't even mad at it. This is one of the books where I felt like, although how tense it was not as tense as other books in the Old Testament. And it was really good. It was really good to read. I'm not gonna lie. Esther was really good to read. If you haven't read it, I suggest you read it. But if not, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. If you haven't read Esther, please read Esther. I'm telling you now. Please read. But yeah, other than that, um, reading the Old Testament, it just shows me all in all, the biggest love story of them all, which is God's love for His people. And no matter how much the people of Israel really just turned up and turned out over and over and over, He literally promised them this land, gave them the land, exiled them from the land, and bought them back. Bought them back. That is the Old Testament. The biggest, greatest love story I've ever heard. God's love for His people, and all He wants is for you to love and submit to Him back. And that is it. Literally, He'll supply literally supply everything, just for you to submit to Him and to love Him. His love for you is real. And if you don't believe it, please, please, please read the Old Testament. I highly encourage, I highly recommend you read the whole Testament, the Old Testament. Of course, growing up in a Baptist church, I know what the New Testament is. This will be my first time reading through the entire New Testament as an adult, so we're going to get into that. I feel like I need to wrap up this series of David, at least the first season that's out now, before I get into the new season, because I was watching The Chosen, and then I stopped because I was reading the Old Testament, and so I was getting crossed. So now I finished the Old Testament. I need to finish this series of David on Prime. Then I'm going to start the New Testament and then start The Chosen over as I'm reading the New Testament. So, it'll be easier to follow, kind of see it in real time as things happen. And I feel like that'll be a journey within itself, especially starting. Wow, it just hit me, especially starting this time of the year, where we're fasting and spending time with God. Hitting the New Testament right when this fast is started. So I know there's something coming out of this season after just coming to that realization. I know there's something going to be big out of this. So I'm definitely locking in, definitely reading the Bible, watching The Chosen, feeling the feelings as we go through Lent, as we go through this fasting period, as we go through this time and getting closer with God, and basically just living this fasted lifestyle. We just finished a fast 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, maybe. And now we're going into this time again. So this is just a part of a lifestyle I'm trying to live and lead for my family, and my future family, just to be under submission of God and always seeking and constantly seeking His will and His purpose for life, to make sure I'm not astray and make sure I'm in line with His purpose for what I'm supposed to be doing. So I'm looking forward to it. This is not my first rodeo. This will be my first rodeo with you all. And definitely my first rodeo of being a part of a church, being under this level of submission, being under this level of trying to be up under this level of commitment, and just being in a different space overall. I pray that there's a level of clarity and discipline that comes during this season, to where I can carry it throughout the rest of the year, and then year to year, and then throughout the rest of life, and then I can impart it into my little ones. So yeah, that's where we at, man. That is this week's episode of Love, man. Hopefully it wasn't too deep. Hopefully it wasn't too heavy. I feel like that's a message that need to be put out there. I don't need to harp on it. I don't need to push nothing harder than that, or really take up too much your time with nothing other than that. I think this episode definitely is from the heart. Like I said, I had some time to think about it, but it's mostly just to let you guys know that there is love out there for you, that the most sincere, the biggest, the most meaningful and impactful love you could feel is from the love of God. And then in seeking that love, he will bless you with the person you're supposed to be with. I 100% believe that. And I encourage you to try it. There's plenty of times in the Old Testament where God is like, try me. If you don't believe me, try me. Try me. Try me. So I encourage you to try him in seeking his love and seeking his favor over your life, and then allowing him to guide you to the person you're supposed to have, or guiding that person to you. So that's it for me this week, man. We're gonna end it on the high note. We're gonna end it on that. It's your boy AJ Three Ways. Please follow, like, subscribe, comment below. Let me know what we can do better. Let me know what you want to see. We got some interviews coming soon. We got some things lined up coming soon. Make sure you keep an eye on the page. Make sure you follow vnv.media on Instagram. And follow your boy AJ Three Ways on Instagram and on YouTube, man. Make sure you like the video. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you're keeping track of the journey, and tap in and let us know where you at with your journey. Hey, this has been episode 9, the love episode.
The hustle screams like a storm inside. Two faces, one path until worlds align. Venom in my blood, varsity.